Hello and welcome back to JDA Football. Today we've got another special video for you. I'm going to be doing part 2 of the video I did about a week ago. It's going to be part 2 of every Premier League club and who I think they should sign. So last time I went from Arsenal to Liverpool. So this time I'm going to go for Man City to Wolves. So if you haven't watched the first one, you should probably go and check that out. But yeah, hope you enjoy. So the first team we're going to be talking about is Manchester City, and for them I have gone for quite an interesting one. Dayot Upamecano from RB Leipzig. He is a 21-year-old centre-back and already starts most games for RB Leipzig and has done very well this season, starting most games in the Champions League as well in RB Leipzig's very good run. And the reason I've gone for him is I don't think City need any more attackers or midfielders. They've already got one of the best squads in the league or in the world, in my opinion. And when it comes to centre backs, they aren't blessed. So yeah, I think they should get in a young defender like Upamecano because they've got Stones, Otamendi, who are all not on the old side, but they're not the best by any stretch of imagination. So I think getting someone young in like Upamecano would benefit them greatly. Next, we go to the red side of Manchester, this time in the form of Manchester United. And for them, I've gone for Dortmund forward, Jadon Sancho. Although I couldn't really see this happening, as he is so young and so talented, and Manchester United aren't on the same level as some big clubs at the moment. He is one player that I think United desperately need. He can play anywhere in the front line, which I think would benefit United massively. And he does have 17 goals and 16 assists in 28 games in the Bundesliga this season. So yeah, only being 20 years old, he can only improve, and maybe a move to the Premier League would be ideal. The next team we're going to be talking about is Newcastle, and seeing as they have nearly completed their big money takeover, I've gone for a big money player, and that player is Juventus striker Gonzalo Higuain. He has 5 goals and 4 assists in 23 games, but he did only start 6 of them, so it's alright. He is a bit on the old side, being 32 years old, but hopefully Newcastle can bring him in and he can start scoring goals as quick as possible. He had a loan deal at Chelsea about 2 years ago, and he did quite well. I think he scored about 3 goals in about 7 games, which for a player only being in the Prem for one season, that's a pretty good goal tally. And I feel like if Newcastle can get him in as quick as possible and playing in front of Almiron and Saint Maximin, who they've just brought in, he can start scoring goals as quick as possible. The next club we're going to be speaking about is Norwich, and seeing as they don't spend much money very often, I feel like they could have some in the bank, and they're going to need some for the player I've chosen. I've gone for Everton striker Cenk Tosun. He is 29 years old, so he's not on the young side. He played 5 games on loan at Crystal Palace last season, got 1 goal, and then obviously got injured. But yeah, I feel like if Norwich were going to sign any big player, it'd have to be a striker such as Tosun. They did have Timo Pukki, who started scoring quite a few goals at the start of the season, but eventually did drop off. And I feel like someone like Tosun, who is experienced in the Premier League and can score a lot of goals, will help them move forward and hopefully help them escape relegation. Next, we're going to go on to the surprises of this season. We're going to go on to Sheffield United, and I've gone for a surprise player as well. I've gone for another RB Leipzig player, but this time in the form of Jonas Poulsen. He's a Danish striker. He's played 22 games this season, only started 5, obviously having to battle with Timo Werner, who's one of the best strikers in the world at the moment. But with only starting that many games, he has got 5 goals and 6 assists, which is quite a good tally. But then again, he's moving to a team that score goals all around. So, yeah, should be a good signing if they manage to pull it off. Obviously, they have signed another Danish player in centre mid earlier on this season, and hopefully their connection can entice him to Sheffield United. Now we move down south and go to Southampton. And for them, I've gone for Werder Bremen winger Mila Rashica. He's a 23-year-old winger. He's got 7 goals and 5 assists in 25 games, which for a relegated club, or soon to be relegated club, is a very good tally. And because they are going to be relegated, Southampton could pick him up for a cheap price. There is a lot of clubs that want him because he is so good and he plays for a team such as Werder Bremen. And hopefully Southampton can get him as soon as possible just to play in behind or overlapping Danny Ings, who, if they can keep hold of, will do very well for them in the future. Now we get back onto another big money spending team, this time in the shape of Spurs, and for them I've gone for quite a controversial one in Bayern Munich defender David Alaba. He played left back last season, but this season he has fell out of favour. He's 27 years old and can play centre back, so he's gone into the prime of his career. And if Tottenham can get him now, then that'd be the best time. He does start at centre back sometimes with just selling Mats Hummels, and obviously Alphonso Davies tearing it up recently, especially against Spurs actually. But yeah, if they can sign David Alaba, then to replace Danny Rose, who I think they're going to sell to Newcastle, and Davies, who is also aging a bit, that would be a very good signing in my opinion. Now we go on to another difficult one for me, this time in the form of Watford, and for them I've gone for Benrahma from Brentford. He had a very good season this year, being 24 years old, starting 34 games and getting 10 goals and 7 assists, which for a winger is very good in my opinion. Brentford, they could go up, and if they go up, his price is going to skyrocket. But if they do stay down at the Championship, I feel like his price would probably go down, and that's the sort of player that I think Watford probably would sign. Hopefully they can get him playing on the other wingers of Ismaila Sarr, who had a great season this year. And yeah, who knows, with Deeney up front, maybe they can get a few goals in next season if they stay up. Second to last team we go on to is West Ham, and most of their signings, to be honest, don't go down that well, such as Sebastian Haller. But for them, I've gone for Nottingham Forest right back, Matty Cash, who I really wanted to sign for Everton, but sadly the deal broke through, which I wasn't too happy with. And the reason I've gone for him is he's 22 years old, and West Ham could really use the time to develop him. He scored 3 goals and got 4 assists, and did get into the Championship team this season from right back, which I think is very good. West Ham been struggling for centre backs recently, obviously with Zabaleta now being 36 years old, and Ngakia, I don't know how you say his name, but he is also a 19-year-old right back who wasn't that good. So if they could get Matty Cash in, just have him for like 5 or 6 seasons, and then maybe give him to a bigger club if he does well, it would be a good investment in my opinion. And the last team we're going to go on to is Wolves, and for them I've gone for Benfica striker Vinicius. He's a 25-year-old and he has 15 goals and 4 assists already this season, for Benfica obviously. Wolves do have Diego Jota and Raul Jimenez already up front, but I feel like some healthy competition could even improve them. And also, Raul Jimenez is getting on the old and slow side, in my opinion. And yeah, they could probably cash out anytime soon. And Vinicius, they can keep for a good 5 years. And with him only being 25, he can always improve as well. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Please go and follow our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and yeah, also the latest podcast we put out is also on Spotify, so please feel free to catch up on that. That would be greatly appreciated too. And yeah, that's the end of the video, so thanks for watching, and see you next time.